Before each and every exercise, the dive supervisor takes over, checks the divers if everyone is okay to dive, if there's nobody who's on medication or didn't even sleep well. You need to have a very good sound mind in sound body before you can dive. So you can see the dive supervisor actually checking each diver before the person is being launched into the water. Whenever a diver enters the water and is coming up, the person's hand must be up, so that in case of anything which is up above him that may be of a hazard that can injure him, his hands need to be there so that he doesn't actually have a head injury. So you see all the divers, after entering the water, they will come up with their hands up and they will give an okay sign telling the dive supervisor that yes, they are okay in the water. If the diver goes into the water and comes up and doesn't give an okay sign, the dive supervisor have to caution, and if there's any problem, pull the person out of the water as quickly as possible. You also have the first, one of the ladies in the diving unit, who is able seaman Akuto. She's under training now, and we have two other females who are also part of the diving wing for now. Just for gender equality, what a man can do, women can also do. She's actually doing very, very well in this course, very, very, very well, very well. So at the part of this exercise, they are going to use a navigation board. They have a navigation board which they are going to use. Okay, the navigation board captures the depth, the temperature, and also gives you, helps you to be able to navigate yourself from one point to the other. There are various types of scuba diving equipment. What we are using now is called scuba diving. The scuba is an abbreviation. It's called the self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. So that is the bottle behind them. It contains the air that they are supposed to use. So if the air is finished, the diver have to come up. But you don't have to wait for the air to be finished before you actually come up. The reason they are using the navigation board is to help them be able to navigate from one point to the other while they cannot see where they are going. They are just giving the coordinate for them to follow. So at this exercise, there are 2 points which have been given to various teams. They will go down, use the navigation board, navigate, and both of them will appear at a point, and the two of them will come up, the two teams will come up together for this particular exercise. There are other exercises whereby you need closed circuit. The closed circuit is where it's for combat. The divers go under the water and you'll never see them until they are done with their exercise and they come up. But with this one too, you cannot also see them. You are supposed to give them tendon lines whereby you can use to communicate. The tendon line is like a rope tied to one person, so you use that to communicate from the surface to the bottom. For this exercise, they are not using the tendon lines but using the navigation board. So what you will use to monitor their movement from the surface is by their bubbles. So when they actually go down, you see their bubbles actually moving from one point to the other. Always when the divers are in the water, they must always ask permission before they do anything. So whilst they are jumping in, they ask permission from the dive supervisor. Whilst they are in the water, they ask the permission from the dive supervisor. And when they are going down, so the moment they go down, they are about to go down, they must also communicate to the dive supervisor. Okay. So as you can see, they are going down, and that's it. From now, you can't see them again. The only thing that you can see is their bubbles.
What communication device do they use to communicate with the supervisor?
Okay. For now, as you are using the scuba, you don't have the communication device. All we have to do is the line pull signal. So for now, they trust in their bodies. So underwater, your body is like your heart. Because if something happens to me, you must be the one I must communicate to. From there, you can see that the other team is also going down, and that's it. With scuba, like you are saying, the communication system, we have we have one called the full face mask or the AGA.
Okay.
The full face mask, it has communication systems inside that you can actually talk and for them to hear. But for this exercise, you are not using it. It is used for different operations. For this exercise, you are not using it. So as of now, you only have your tender your body to actually communicate with.
So if they have a problem down there right now,
They come up.
you only just come up.
They'll
You
come
can't
up.
talk to anybody.
You can't
just
talk
come
to.
up.
Well, there are other sound. We have been trained to use ropes and sound. So there are various emergency procedures that we follow. Now, in case you are down there and you are out of air means my cylinder is finished, or maybe it's perforated, there's no more air coming. I quickly go to my diver, I tap, tell him I'm out of air, and we are supposed to body breathe. So I can use the regulator. So you see, every diver has 2 demand valves. One is here and the other one is spare. So if he's using one and he doesn't have a fault, he have the other one to rely on.
Okay.
If not, I must be able to go to him and body breathe from the other regulator which he is using.
So they dive in pairs.
Always dive in pairs.
Never dive alone.
Never dive alone. Never dive alone. Never. It's never done.
Can it go beyond 2, or the maximum you can go is 2?
You can go beyond 2. It can go beyond 2. It can be 3. It can be 4, as much as possible. But it is never alone. Never ever alone. Now, because of scuba, you can see that we've positioned some 2 men in black on the other vessels. You must always have constant eyes on the divers. Yes, I'm saying constant eyes. You might ask me why, because you are not seeing the divers. But whilst you are seeing the bubbles, you will know exactly where they are.
Okay.
Now, you can also monitor whether a diver is in trouble or actually working from the bubbles that the person is breathing. When the person is healthy and everything is normal, you see a constant flow of bubbles coming up. If the bubbles increase, you should know that there's something wrong. Either the person is working vigorously or there's something actually at stake. Now, if there's any issue and the diver comes up, there's always a standby diver. There's always a standby diver. We have the standby diver right here. In case of anything, he will be briefed to go inside.
He's always positioned in the boat.
He is always positioned in the boat, and we have one also outside.
Okay.
Because the boat is faster to reach the person.
So divers move with boats.
Yes.
Every diver or 2 divers, if you like, would
The
always have to go with
the
boat.
team will have to go with the boat. But if it's just like just on the ship pier here, where you are doing a normal inspection here, not necessarily. But medical team, 100%. If there's no medical team, the dive team doesn't move.
How deep can a diver go? Is it based on instructions, or you just go and work? So you go at any
No. Actually, the more deeper you go, the lesser time. So before the divers go in, the dive supervisor brief all of them, checks who is okay, who is not okay. Then tell them what the daily activity is. So that is the task.
Okay.
Aside that, we have something we call table and schedule. The table and schedule actually explains the depth and the time. You can't go to any depth and stay there as long as you want.
You're timed.
Yes, you are timed. It's actually timed. There's a time on it. If you go down, for now they are doing 12 meters. 12 meters, the maximum time that they must be able to spend there is 130 minutes. So if you go beyond that, there are serious complications. Serious complications. You can even risk a fatal issue. So you must actually follow each instruction.